everyone, it's Kimberly with Seattle Lux Homes. As we get into fall, I love having cozy dinner parties at home. So I couldn't think of a better person to invite than my friend Jason, who makes fabulous dinners, to teach us how to make his wonderful paella. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So tell me how you started making paella and how you got good at it.
Well, I always loved it. It was always a dish that if it was on the menu at a restaurant, I was going to order it.
Yeah, me too.
And then I went to Spain and I fell in love with it for real. And I thought, well, I want to learn how to make it. I took a cooking class and I realized it's actually really easy.
It's one of those dishes that looks complicated, but it's not.
Yeah, and that's why I love to make it. And people also feel really special when you tell them, oh, I'm making paella.
Yeah.
Don't you want your guests to feel special when they come over?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm really excited to get into this.
So let's get started.
Yeah, so let's get started. What's the first step?
Well, I think about this in two different parts, the prep and then the cooking. And I prep everything before the guests come, and then when the guests come, we cook it together.
Awesome.
All right? So we take a whole yellow onion and we dice that all up, put that in a bowl. Then I take a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. I prefer whole tomatoes. You can buy crushed if you want, but I like whole tomatoes, and then I chop them up myself. I have a jar of pimenton that I also chop up and dice very finely. And then in terms of the protein, it's very easy to prep. The shrimp, I buy them deveined already, so there's really nothing to do. I do like to buy shrimp with the shells on. I think it adds flavor, but you don't have to. Mussels, when you buy them, you want to beard them and clean them. Keep them on ice so they stay alive right before cooking. I also, if you're using sausage, I take the sausage links and I cut them into 1-inch slices, and then I quarter those slices, so it's almost like a dice.
Okay.
The lemons, we just cut into wedges, and 2 cloves of garlic that I mince really finely. And everything else is ready to go. So once it's all prepped, it's gonna take you 15-20 minutes. You just lay it out and wait for your guests to arrive, and then you can start cooking. This only takes about 30 minutes, so whenever you guys are ready to eat, that's when it's time to cook. You take a paella pan. If you don't have one, you can use a large frying pan, but I would really recommend getting a paella pan. You heat up some olive oil, and then we're gonna put in the chorizo, and we're gonna render that until we get 1 or 2 tablespoons of fat. It doesn't have to be cooked all the way through, so 2 to 3 minutes. And then using a slotted spoon, I'm gonna take that chorizo out and put it into a bowl, save it for later.
Okay.
With all that fat in the pan, I'm gonna start sauteing the vegetables. And I start with the diced onion. I'm gonna put the diced onion, and I saute that until it's translucent. Once it's translucent, I add in the 2 cloves of the minced garlic, and then also chopped pimenton, the peppers, and just till that's aromatic.
Okay.
So now that the onions and the garlic and the pimentos are sauteing, I add in the pimenton spice.
Okay.
It's gonna give it a really rich, deep, dark color flavor. It's also gonna get really dry in the pan,
Okay.
and things are gonna start sticking. That's okay, that's flavor.
Okay.
Once that's going, I then add in the tomatoes, the whole tomatoes that I chopped up with a little bit of salt to taste. And I want those to be in the pan until there's a nice dark color, and again, it starts sticking. A lot of the moisture has evaporated. I'm gonna add in the rice, and I'm gonna stir the rice into the mixture really well. I want the rice to get coated with all that yummy flavor. And now we're going to add the wine along with the saffron that has been steeping in the wine. Stirred around, all that flavor that's sticking to the pan is gonna incorporate throughout the whole dish, and that saffron infused wine is gonna give your paella that really classic paella color.
It's gorgeous.
We're gonna add in our chicken broth. Stirred around. We'll take the reserved chorizo that we cooked at the beginning and rendered that fat. We're gonna sprinkle it all over the pan. We're not gonna add in the shrimp or the mussels or the scallops yet because they're very quick cooking proteins.
I see.
So now we're gonna cover the pan with tin foil, and we're gonna let it simmer for about 15 minutes until about half of that moisture is gone. At the 15-minute mark or about the halfway mark, that's when you can start adding your quick cooking seafood. So I'm gonna add in the scallops all over the top in a nice pattern, and I'll also then arrange the shrimp. I'll layer it in really nicely. Then I'm gonna tuck these mussels in so they're about halfway covered. I'm gonna cover it with tin foil and let it cook for about another 15 minutes. You can give it a little peek to see how things are going. As you know, when the shrimps are pink, they're done. When the mussels are opening up, they're done. And also, one of the things you do want to see is very low to no moisture. Don't worry about burning the bottom of the pan. In fact, you want to burn it just a little bit.
Yeah, that's the best part.
It's called the socarrat.
Socarrat.
And paella traditionalists will say if you don't have the socarrat, which is just a thin, I don't even want to say burned, but really dark brown crust.
Crispy
crispy
rice.
rice, you're really not doing paella right.
That's my favorite part. People fight over that part.
So it's a one-pan dish that you can burn a little bit and it still turns out really well.
Okay, I like that.
All right, let's have another sip of wine.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, and then let's start serving it and eating it.
Okay. Cheers! Thank you so much for showing us how to do your awesome paella.
Hey, thanks, Kimberly. This is my favorite part.
I know it is. For the full recipe, head on over to SeattleLuxeHomes.com and check out some homes where you can have your next paella party.